6 Dairy Queens, 5 Burger Kings, 4 Wendy's, 3 Mickey D's, 2 Taco B's, and some Arby's because they have the meats. Guys, I guess that's the fat guy version of the 12 days of Christmas. Anyways, it's 4:41 a.m. when I'm making this video, so excuse the nonsense, guys. Hope everyone's having a very blessed day. Today happens to be the 8th of February, in case you're not aware. 2026, that's when I'm making this video. And this is going to be no disrespect if I mispronounce the name. Remember, I'm a Midwest boy. But Alex Ramos, I just want to say shout out to you, man, and to your pops. Alex lost his dad 4 years ago yesterday. And just want you to know, man, at this moment, we are definitely all thinking of you and your dad. Today's video, guys, comes on Super Bowl Sunday. Today, the Seattle Seahawks will take on the New England Patriots. I didn't know really who to choose. Back and forth, because I like Vrabel a lot. You guys want to see a puppy? Say hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Okay, that was lame. But anyways, who doesn't want to see a puppy, right? Anyways, these dogs like laying on these heating pads, man, behind me. So that's where they stay. And I have to sit on the edge of my seat. Just like I'm sure you're on the edge of your seat for this review, right? No, but with all seriousness, guys, today, getting a little warmer here where I'm at, 39 degrees. And so this video is actually going to be about a 4mm chain. Now, this one happens to be in 22 karat. So if you're looking at 22 karat, there's that. If you're looking at 4mm chains, there's that. And if you're looking at a shorter look, why, there's that. So guys, just so you know, I am 600. I am not 600 pounds. I am 6'3" and like 3/4, so almost 6'4". I know camera adds a couple 100 pounds, I guess, right? So anyways, I'm around too sexy. No, I'm at like 230, guys. So anyways, with that being said, it kind of depends on your build and how you hold things. This is a 16-inch. I'm kidding, guys. It's a 20-inch, and this is a 22-inch. So without the cross, I'm just going to go ahead and show you real quickly. Now, my suggestion would be wear whatever you guys always want to wear. But you always want to probably have this chain smaller. So if you were to wear a flat link, or actually if you're just to wear anything down here, you don't really want the smaller chain to be down here. And most of the time, it does look a little better if the rounded chain is the longer chain. So if this was like, fig, flat, anything, and it was a smaller one up here, and then you had, you saw how I had the cross on that. Well, the thing is, this 3.5mm baby curb and the cross are just kind of my favorite. The rope chain is my favorite chain, probably of all time, but the second is the baby curb, and this is a 3.5mm. I know it's way back there, guys, and you probably can't see that, but that's okay. But I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, I'm going to take off this here. This, by the way, if you're interested, I know Hawaii rope chain sells these as well. This one is from Jacoje, because you might have a weight, guys, if it's not in stock. I say might, you're gonna have a weight, but the quality of these pieces are amazing. But anyways, we're not on to that. So this is that 3.5mm, but again, we're not really talking about this either. But we'll do a video on that. I've had that chain for over 4 months now, and I absolutely love it. So anyways, here is this look right here, guys. So this would be an 18-inch on me, would be a choker. Now, believe it or not, about 3 summers ago, this 20-inch chain is with a choker on me. And this is still a choker, if for some of you, right? I mean, you can fit 2 fingers in there, 3 if she's been drinking. Anyways, guys, so we've got this right here. You have that look. So at 20 inches, 22 inches, guys, so you have to go kind of like this. So there's 20. You would have about 21 inches here, and then the 22 would hang here. And that's what that was, and you guys kind of saw that. For me personally, just what I have, this is the 4mm, guys. I actually got it in on trade. Shout out to Ricky. But I got it on trade, and I had looked and I talked to Matt, and shout out to Matt as well, and about, man, we were wanting to get a 3.5mm 22 karat gold rope, and gold just kept shooting up, and shooting up like an addict in the alley. And so Braden had finally hit up, or he had, you know, whatever happened, but I talked to Braden and got the price on the 22, and I was just like, man, I'm not at the point in my life where I really want to get into that right now. Matthew, or Matt, you know, shout out to him. Shout out to you, by the way, on, I think it's Real Estate Man, making the cover of that magazine. I saw that on your page. Shout out to you, my guy. Was wanting a 3.5, and the reason why is because I have the 3.5mm there with 3.5mm rope. Ropes always look bigger, but a diamond cut rope is usually, now I know Mike had talked about from the Tried Truth, his new 5mm was closer to 5mm, if not, he thinks a little over. Whereas the Peruvian ones are the ones from Peru. You know, if it's 4mm, you're really looking at like around 3.5, hopefully, and up, right? So there's this look, guys. I also did a video on this compared to a 14 karat gold color. When it comes to rope chains, now you have to talk about the same manufacturer. When it comes to rope chains, though, 14 karat and 18 karat on the color, there is not that much of a difference. I mean, anybody that looked at a 14 karat, you told them 18 karat, I would be like, yeah, okay. Or if you told me your 18 karat was 14 karat, I'd be like, yeah, okay. If you told me your 22 karat gold was 18 or 14, I'd be like, man, they plated the hell out of that. So I did a video where, and I'll go ahead and throw that on there. That's what it looked like kind of as a bracelet, 4mm. Now, guys, people are always like, people always, but I've seen a lot of things, and I fed into it too at one time where your bracelet needed to be 7mm or 155mm, or, you know, I'm just kidding, but, you know, it doesn't need to be that. In fact, I mean, anything subtle is its own statement. In fact, one of my favorite bracelets at all time was a 5mm tricolor rope. And so the bracelet kind of looked like that. I don't know if this is going to pull up, ladies and gentlemen, but what it says is it's got the F and the J, and then it says 22 karat. I can't spend too much time on that, but that's what that looks like there. Now, what I want to do here is, first of all, I'll show you a few things. So if this chain was 26 inches, it would be probably about right here, okay? So 24 would be about right there. And 22 inches, guys, would be about right there. And again, 20, you'll see is about right here. So anytime you add a pendant to something. So one of the reasons that I absolutely love this chain, it's a set and forget kind of thing. Now, 22 karat, I'm just gonna let's just get the elephant out the room, is softer. Gold is soft. Guys, when it comes to scratching, 10 karat scratching, scratching, 10 karat, 14 karat, it's all gonna scratch. As for dents and stuff like that, that's kind of what you want to be careful with. It's all about where you're at in your life. Are you going to be cage fighting in this? Don't do it. You know, a lot of times the shorter the chain, sometimes you'll go to take off your shirt or your jacket, you know, your hoodie or whatever, and you'll snag it and pull. Rope chains are made on a thin wire that's inside there. So once you kind of break these guys, you know, you know, you can solder them back together, but if you were to look at them, they're never going, you know, if you were to look right, oh, there it is. Because it will look like a little kink if you look closely, okay? So 3.5 millimeter, I mean, 2.5 and stuff like that would have been fine. But, you know, it was more of being able to wear it as a solitaire. So 3.5, if I was wearing it up here, I wanted the 22 inch again. So that would have looked like there. Because I was going to pair it up. But what happened was I got this on the trade, like I said. This is a 4 millimeter. So I was able to wear it. Matthew got his. I told him I was living vicariously through him. And maybe the setup that I have, the 3.5 at 20 inches would be super cool, because it's still going to weigh, I think that's going to weigh around 26 grams. At 22 karat, I think that's as thin as I'd want to go when I'm rocking a, you know, not a tiny, but a mini pendant. So this one weighs 5.5. But it would absolutely be fine, guys. I wouldn't tell you I was wanting to buy an expensive anything or anything at all. It would move the dollar if I knew it was going to break or, you know, fall apart. So on a 4 millimeter rope, this is the mini Boss Cross from Jacoje.com. Now, I don't know if I said, but the rope is FJ branded. You can get those at Jacoje as well. This one came from Saints Gold. Shout out to Sam. So if you had trouble reading, guys, 20 inches, 4 millimeter rope, diamond cut, 34.1 grams. So I think it was 33 grams of 22 karat equals a full troy ounce. So we're a little over a troy ounce here of gold. And so my recommendation is round chains are always going to look better. So, you know, I wear that on that, but I really don't care, because I mean, and so usually the longer the chain to you, I would suggest maybe going standard size. If you're wearing it shorter, like I do, you know, I think mini is, you know, good. Mini or standard on a 4 millimeter. However, guys, that mini, you can put it on a 5, but I wouldn't go any larger than a 4 millimeter. You're taking away from it, and it kind of looks, you'll see when I put it up here. Even on the 3.5 millimeter, that, now you got to remember 14 karat weighs less than 22 karat. So it just depends on what you're getting too. And because, you know, it's going to hang differently, because that, if you want it to pull to that V, it may not do that. Okay. If I wear a lot of hoodies, and this one's a thinner one, and so it kind of pushes it up into that, but sometimes it'll be more of a rounded look, kind of like it was today, I think. So let me throw this on here with this mini Boss Cross. I think that I've almost bought a 22 mini line at one time, but it just, gold just kept shooting up, and then eventually he put it on links and it sold. So guys, this is what this looks like, and I like this look with, you know, button-up t-shirts. I like this look with, you know, a polo shirt. If you were to, again, guys, last day of the football season, that's why I'm wearing this. If you guys ever follow these, you know that my homie comes over and we play Madden. Last week was a 3-point game. The week before that was a butt kicking. So, you know, for me, not against me, but hopefully today we are playing the Super Bowl, and hopefully I'll win it all. But I love this way this looks, guys. If this was a 3.5mm, I think this would be probably one of the best setups, period. And a few of us have talked about, guys, you don't need to validate your opinions and stuff. You don't need to look for people to vindicate your opinions. If you feel a way, that's the way that you feel. Okay, you don't need somebody else. I will never tell you you need to get a 4mm rope, or you need to get, I'm just going to show you or tell you what my opinion is, and you make your own decisions. It's your money, not mine. I just feel, and I've always felt, because even you see right here, maybe you do, maybe you don't, if this was a 3.5mm rope, this is going to hang more like that. So, and the thinner the rope, or the chain, the longer it would, it's going to hang. Bang, bang. So, can I say bang, bang wearing a Cowboys? You know, if you're a Niners fan, you know. So, and also, I asked my wife, I said, and because we have pretty similar opinions, so that's going, obviously that's why we got married. But I said, what do you think about this? Does this look okay? And she said, well, the chain looks a little thick. And so I would definitely think, here's my honest opinion on this. I think that the 3.5mm with a mini would look absolutely amazing for versatility wise, just overall everything. Now it depends on your size too, because like I said, Matthew got that 3.5mm. That's going to look different on him than what it looks on me. Okay. That on him looks like the perfect, like subtle, clean cut, classy solitaire chain. If you throw the pendant on that ever, if he chooses to do that, it's going to, like I said, 3.5, it's going to look amazing, because he can go also standard, and he can also go, the mini. And, to me, the mini size is one of my favorites. So the 4mm for me, the reason I say it's a little more versatile is because if I wanted, and, well, hold on one second. Playa. All right, guys. So my wife loves Superbad too. Anyways, what do you think? I know there's a lot of new movies. I heard there's a rumor about Superbad 2. Is that true? If you guys heard anything about that? I know there's a Super Troopers 3, and there's Scary Movie, 6, and Scream 7, and all these. There's a lot of good movies, I think, coming out. Anyways, guys, this is a 20-inch on me. So if you are smaller, you're going to want to go smaller, of course, because this would actually probably look like a 22-inch on you guys. I think on Braden, or like I said, Try Truth Mike, if you guys ever want to check out that channel, if you're just coming up on this one, maybe you've looked at his, came here, so you already know, go to that, The Try Truth, okay? And he's had the chains, guys, look at them. But this is what this looks like solitaire. So if you're wearing a hoodie, like on this, guys, a lot of times it's going to do this. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. That's pretty much the neckline that you're getting there. If I'm wearing a t-shirt though, if you guys are wearing a lot of t-shirts like Billie Eilish, then this would be one of my favorite chains. And it's definitely is a, will I keep this one? I don't know. It wasn't my intent. Do I like it? I love it, guys. It's my favorite kind of chain. And now my first chain ever that I bought gold wise with a 24-inch 5mm 14 karat gold. And I've had the 6mm, I've had 7 and 8mm, guys, but the 6mm is really a very nice chain for just everyday, but it's up there in weight and stuff. And I just have a real, like, remember me saying 5mm tricolor rope? Yeah, I have a spot in my heart for that, just like I always will the Figaro. So if, you know, that's something that you're looking for, you know, the 5mm, in fact, again, guys, I'm just keep bringing this up. The Tri-Truth mic just got a 14 karat gold 5mm Cali rope from Lynx, or maybe been from Jacoje, because now Jacoje has those on there. So I think they're from Jacoje. And I did mention earlier, he was talking about how he thought that they were a thicker cut when it came to the diamond cut. So might want to go there and check that out. So what does this look like with a pendant? Bam, here's that guy. So me personally, you know, it's one of those things, guys. I call this a athletic cut. I just always have. I know baseball players wear the big chains flopping around and stuff. To me, you know, as a football player, you've got this up here where you've got your shoulder pads and everything kind of comes right here. You wear not a polo brand, but a polo shirt, you know, with like the 2 or 3 buttons here and a collar. And you've got that look, just a regular t-shirt. And then if you throw a pendant on here, see how it's kind of rounded out, guys? That's because you're talking, what did I tell you, 34 grams versus 5.5. So if this was heavier, or if this was the 3.5mm rope, that's what you're looking at. So, but like I said, versatility, I think that this is absolutely fine. If you put anything that weighs anything lighter on here, it's going to look about the same. It's not going to pull too much more. I mean, you already pulled over. I can't pull over any further. But if you're looking at just what chain should you get, guys, you're kind of sometimes either a rope or a Franco person. Francos are a very classy chain. I just like the ropes a little bit, but I like ropes better. Okay. And then my wife, she wears a Franco, you know, with her pendant, but it's like a 1.2mm or something like that. But they are definitely durable. I don't like the little tags that they have. If you guys know what I'm talking about, then you know. But as for sliding back and forth, it's a smooth glide, where sometimes on a rope, depending on your belt, it could get caught up here. Now, that's why I said this one could do a 5, but I wouldn't do it, because if you see, I think this looks absolutely fine, guys. But the rope is a little bit thicker, and it would really bring out that cross. But just as a everyday personal chain, if this was the only thing that I had, I would be 100% fine with it. I absolutely love it. I love the look of it. When you're wearing a pendant, it's not gonna really come up and go inside your shirt. So, you know, that was one of the things with wearing a chain and then wearing like a bigger hoodie. I was like, man, you know, that's why the 26 inches kind of stayed out on me and stuff. And, you know, as I lost weight and things, you know, 26 inches just looked a little longer for me. And now it's just like, oh, well, you know, I really like the pendant, and I just love my cross pendant. So if I'm going to wear a bigger hoodie, I just, you know, I've been wearing the cross on there, guys, since I've gotten it for 2 months. The cross I have had for 2 months. And, well, yeah. But even if I wasn't, I was just wearing this guy, I know that if on a bigger hoodie, it's just going to keep going up and up. So with the cross on there, it would hold it down. So this is what this would look like, guys, if you were interested in pairing. Now you would need the rule of 4, right? So 20 inch, this would have to be a 26 inch to look like this, okay? And it would actually probably look more like that, because it is a mini, and you would be able to fit a standard size in there. But, so do I recommend this? Yes. Any carat whatsoever, 10, 14, 18, and 22, but that's going to depend on your lifestyle. I've always said 18 karat is a really good sweet spot if you're wanting a higher purity, not just because of durability or anything like that, even though that's true. I think 22 karat is absolutely fine, guys. Like I said, you have to be more careful with it, because you've seen the cartoons. I always make that example where they're biting the coins and stuff. 18 karat, most of the stuff in America, guys, 10, 14 karat. Like I know overseas, you guys from Chile and stuff like that, shout out to you. It is a 18 karat and up world and even 22 karat. But if you're walking in the mall and you're wearing an 18 karat gold chain, the chances that you're finding an 18 karat gold pendant is rare. But you're going to find a lot of 10 and 14 carats, and the color difference, if that's important to you, is not going to be that big of a difference. And when it comes to mixing, I say do whatever. If you want to mix white gold, silver with gold, guys, who cares? You know, Yukon Cornelius approves, right? If you know, you know. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, silver and gold. Anyways, so that's this. It would look really dope as 22 inches and layering. And let's see if I can just pull up an example of this. If these were both 20 inches, let's see if I can do that. You're gonna look at more of, let's see if I get out of this crap right here. You're gonna look at this look. So definitely, if you want to pair stuff up, guys, you can pair stuff up. But my recommendation would be, if you're on the edge of, or on the fence, the edge of the fence, whatever, just don't sit on the post, I guess, unless you like that kind of shit, whatever. Maybe just spit on it first, I don't know. But guys, anyways, when it comes to this right here, I would definitely recommend it. You guys do see how, like, sometimes it looks like it's over there. If this was a 3.5 millimeter, that wouldn't be an issue. If this was a standard size, it wouldn't be an issue. However, most of the time, if you're just walking, it'll correct itself. And like I said, I absolutely like this look, because it looks very tailored to me, for me. And, you know, it's a subtle, but I think it looks real good. And it's also something you, like I said, you could wear in a business situation, even if you're wearing a suit or something like that, guys. Of course so. But anyways, 509, which is my birthday, 509. I guess there's no O in there's no O's in times, just zeros. But we all say that. Even with our zip codes, we always say like blank, 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 01 or 02, and it's like 01, right? But do you do that? I do. There's one last look at this, guys. 22 karat, definitely durable. Just don't snug on it, pull on it. That's what your wiener's for. I'm just kidding. I promise I haven't been drinking. So there's that. You saw it with a white background. You saw it with a black background. There you are. Guys, if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, if you're going to watch commercials, if you're going to do any of that stuff, just remember, be safe. If there's any, whatever you're doing, drinking, smoking, drugging, I don't know, do whatever you're doing, just do it safely, okay? Remember, you're not the only person that's going to be on the road. So much love for all of you guys. Please be nice to one another and stay blessed.